back to the 3/Elite count. I'm War Machine MJ. You see my titles. Sorry if I'm a bit phlegmy. Alright. And on this episode, I'm going to be covering the April 22nd editions of Smackdown and Rampage. So without, well, before we get into that, of course, Friday night, WWE taped a second episode of Smackdown, being that they're going to be in the UK next week. As far as spoilers for that, I will talk about them when they happen. Apologies. Anyway, I will talk about them when they happen, so, yeah. Let's go ahead and get into this. We kicked off the show with a contract signing for WrestleMania Backlash between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, of course, their I Quit match. Adam Pearce, who's hosting this whole thing, introduces both the champion and challenger, and then he says, alright, I'm going to have you guys sign the contract that isn't here yet. And out comes Drew Gulak, who is now Adam Pearce's assistant with the contract in hand. So, yeah, he comes to ringside, hands Pearce the contract, basically says he's excited to be Adam Pearce's assistant, and he then tries to, a callback to his old 205 Live gimmick. He tried to throw to a PowerPoint presentation on the rules of an I Quit match. When Charlotte told him to just shut up, and then her and Ronda, verbally go at it. Of course, Charlotte is condescendingly telling Ronda the rules of an I Quit match. So, yeah. Things got heated. Charlotte then, tried to get the better of Ronda. She flipped the table, and underneath the table was a kendo stick. She gets a good couple of shots in on Ronda before Ronda counters that, gets the kendo stick out of her hand, and then just starts wailing on Charlotte with it. Of course, Gulak holds Ronda back and, disarms her of the kendo stick. And Charlotte had already signed the contract, but Ronda decided to make a statement, so she put Drew Gulak in an armbar and signed the contract on him while he's yelling, I quit, let me go, let me go. So, poor Gulak. Yeah. Okay, anyway, next we had, Pete Dunne taking on Xavier Woods. Originally it was advertised as Dunne versus, Kofi. This match was a bit longer than the last match between the two of them, but not by much. Woods hit Dunne with the DDT and then rolled him up with the backwoods for the victory. As Woods and Kofi are going up the ramp celebrating, Sheamus and Ridge Holland, who were at ringside in Dunne's corner, tried to calm him down. Dunne left the ring. He walked over to the barricade, climbed over, and he saw a member of the ring crew, chucked him over the barricade, and just left. So, yeah. Next, we had a backstage promo where backstage promo where Aaliyah is just so over the moon about what Ricochet's done and what he's going to do next. And Ricochet gives the whole, oh, I'm going to be a fighting champion defending against anybody, anytime, anywhere, when he's interrupted by Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Jinder Mahal then mocked Ricochet, and Ricochet's like, oh, yeah, I'll take on anybody, anytime, anywhere. Shanky steps up to the plate. And Ricochet's like, okay, you're on. And the camera cuts away while Jinder Mahal's asking Shanky, what the fuck is he doing? Next, we had a Walter enhancement talent match where he beat Teddy Goods in 2 minutes with the sleeper and the powerbomb. Of course, he got a rousing introduction from Marcel Bartel. Again, I'm not using their new names, alright? I can respect the fact that they chose new names so that they can use their original names once they leave the company, but their new names are hideous. Like Ludwig Kaiser, Gunther, Butch. Those are awful. Just awful. Next we had Riddle versus Jey Uso. Of course, this was a fantastic match. The ending of the match saw Riddle go for another, tried to go for an RKO. Jey avoids it, and he hits Riddle with a beautiful looking pop-up neck breaker. Riddle kicks out at 2, comes back with a final flash knee. Jey bounced back, hit a super kick, and he goes up to the top rope for a splash, but Riddle puts his knees up and he pins Jey 1, 2, 3. Then there was a backstage shot of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, who were looking on from their locker room, and, well, Roman wasn't too happy. Next, there was an in-ring interview where Kayla Braxton was interviewing the women's tag team champion Sasha and Naomi, and really babyface stuff. And then the topic changed to what's next. Of course, Naomi said they beat Carmella to a honeymoon. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan imploded, so there's no competition left, and out steps Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Natalya makes the point that Sasha and Naomi never beat them in that match at WrestleMania. I think it was a gauntlet match. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, it's just some back and forth stuff. There was some shoving between the teams, and we went to commercial while they were just awkwardly standing in the ring. Yeah. Next, there was a backstage segment with Happy Corbin basically trying to olive branch Madcap Moss. And he's like, okay, I'm going to be the bigger man here. We both said some things, and I apologize. Will you be my sidekick again? And Madcap then says, oh, the chances of me being your sidekick again is about as high as you regrowing your hair. And then Corbin walked off rather angrily while Moss was, laughing at his own joke. Next, we had a video package hyping up Raquel Rodriguez. That's a name I don't have any issue with. Making her in-ring debut next week. So, Big Mommy Cool finally gets her match. Hell yeah. Next, we had Madcap Moss taking on Angel. Of course, Madcap Moss defeated Humberto last week. This was not much of a match. Madcap Moss Um, he hit the punchline on Angel. Um, After the match, Corbin hit the ring and he ambushed Madcap, puts him down with the end of days, and then Corbin just walks away after he repossessed Madcap Moss's Battle Royal trophy. And as of Saturday's episode of Talking Smack, there has been a match signed between these two for WrestleMania Backlash. Earlier in the program, if I can get my words together, there was a backstage segment from Riddle and Orton. Basically, Riddle was bringing up the fact that, oh, he's back on Smackdown, and it's nice to see some old faces. Speaking of which, here's Drew McIntyre. And of course, McIntyre and Orton are sizing each other up. Of course, Riddle goes, all right, I know there's some hostility, but can't we just let bygones be bygones? And then Drew and Orton kind of just bury the hatchet between the two of them. And Riddle goes, well, in good faith, I signed us up to be Lumberjacks for your match against Sammy later. And, McIntyre talks a little bit of static about Roman and the Bloodline. Of course, all three of them walk away. And in the background is Sami Zayn lurking. Fast forward to later on in the program. Sami Zayn is outside Roman's locker room, and he's basically, he's anxious about whether or not he should disturb the tribal chief. Come back from commercial, and Roman is giving it to Jay and Jimmy for Jay losing this week and Jay losing last week to Riddle. And then Jay goes, it's not going to happen again. Then Paul Heyman informs Roman that Sami Zayn is here to see him. Sami grovels at Roman, basically saying everything Roman wants to hear. Then he starts stirring the pot, basically saying that Riddle, McIntyre, and Orton are all talking a bunch of static about the bloodline and the family. And he's basically asking for Roman's help in the Lumberjack match. Sami Zayn leaves, and Roman is, upset that he's being disrespected. So he tells Jimmy and Jay, he's like, there are people disrespecting them. Get his name out their mouth. Next we had sorry. There we go. Next we had the next installment of the Lacey Evans backstory, more heartbreaking stuff. And of course she ends it off with, I'm assuming what's going to be her catchphrase going forward is daughter, wife, mother, Marine, WWE superstar. Which, okay, her sad life story is indeed depressing, and kind of, oh, I want her to succeed. But when she just ends it off by prattling on about wife, mother, daughter, all that, it's just like, we could have done without that. There was also a backstage promo from Xia Li. Of course, Xia Li, the Protector. And the meat and potatoes of it is, she had been a Protector. Not much of one, because we haven't seen her. Then she said, there's nobody worthy of my protection. I'm just going to protect myself. So kind of a heel promo, which, we need more heels. Next was the Lumberjack match, which Yeah, during the match, well, at the start of the match, the Usos came out as surprise Lumberjacks. Of course, Sami Zayn's trying his runaway shenanigans. All the faces corner him, throw him back at the ring for him to get his ass beat by Drew. Drew gets thrown out. He gets beat up by the heels. Towards the end of the match, the Usos take a time to strike at Orton and Riddle. Then they walk away while all the Lumberjacks are brawling. Sami Zayn tries to escape again. McIntyre goes after him, yoinks him back, and throws him back into the ring. And he's getting ready to put the finishing touches on Sami Zayn when he's jumped by Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Of course, Sami Zayn runs off, and McIntyre is beating the hell out of Mahal and Shanky. And yeah, the match doesn't end because Sami Zayn runs off. So as far as we're concerned, the match is still going. But Adam Pearce comes out there, and he's flabbergasted that Sami Zayn ran away in a lumberjack match, where the purpose is you're not supposed to run away. So he says, okay, we're going to run this back once more next week inside of a steel cage. So, yeah. And, yeah, that's how Smackdown ended. Honestly, this whole Sami Zayn Drew McIntyre stuff, it needs to finish because, oh my God, they have run the same match 3 weeks now. They're going to run it again for the fourth time. Oh well. Next we had Rampage. Rampage kicked off with a dream match as Adam Cole, baby, took on the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro No Neck Ishii. And what an absolute match this was. Adam Cole doing his best to try and floor the Stone Pitbull. Of course, Ishii being the hard bastard that he was. It took everything in the arsenal to put him down. The finish came when Ishii was on top. You know, he had the momentum going. Switchblade Jay White came out, threw Rocky Romero, who he and Orange Cassidy were at ringside for Tomohiro Ishii, given that they're all members of Chaos. He yeets Rocky Romero over the steps, and while the referee is distracted checking on Rocky Romero, Adam Cole hits a low blow, and he puts away Ishii with the boo. Next, we had a earlier in the day promo where the Jericho Appreciation Society are turned away at the door, and you know, Jericho's getting hot under the collar about it, and Daniel Garcia goes, "It's okay, guys, I got this. I beat Eddie Kingston once already. You know, I beat Eddie Kingston twice, so I'm just going to go out there and beat him a third time." Then the rest of the Appreciation Society leaves, threatening to call HR on security, which I thought was pretty funny. Next, we had another early in the day promo as Hook is once again being interviewed when he steps into a room where Danhausen got a hold of his potato chips, basically just threw them everywhere and is stomping on them. And Hook then, you know, checks him up against the wall, and he speaks his first promo words. Great work, MJ. Anyway, he says, "You wanted my attention, you got it." So, it's all fun and games until you mess with Hook's chips, and then it's over. and it was regular potato chips. It wasn't, you know, any of the flavors. So I'm guessing Hook doesn't really care as long as it's chips. Yeah, all right. Next we had, well, we really can't call this a match. Serpentico of Chaos Project taking on Lance Archer. Lance Archer's making his way to the ring, and Serpentico hits a tope on him. Turns his back to Archer, and he's celebrating, thinking he got him. Archer just beats the hell out of Serpentico. Hits a blackout. 1, 2, 3. Serpentico dies. After the match, Archer hits a chokeslam symphony on Serpentico. Catches him with 3 chokeslams, go for a 4th one, and he just, nah. So, yeah. Next was an ugly fight between Danny Garcia and Eddie Kingston. Of course, the Jericho Appreciation Society and Santana Ortiz were banned from banned from the building, actually. And these two guys beat the hell out of each other. It was truly a clash of style that made this fight, as Danny Garcia was fighting technically and surgically, while Eddie Kingston was just throwing his best bombs at Garcia the best he could. Of course, Eddie got the victory with the Hurricane. And after the match, Eddie takes off his belt that he was wearing at ringside, and he's getting ready to whip Garcia when he grabs the mic and says, "Jericho, I'm saving this whipping for you. This was just a message. Now take it, send it to your boss." And Eddie drops both the mic and the belt. Next, we had a promo from Tony Schiavone where he interviewed Swerve Scott and Keith Lee over the whole debacle with Hobbs and Stark of Team Taz, of course. Keith Lee is understandably pissed. Swerve is more level-headed of the two. And, yeah, so we're going to get another match between these four bros. Next, we had another Tony Schiavone interview where he was interviewing 3 of the participants of the Owen Hart tourney. Of course, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, got to put respect on that name. Her heater, Jamie Hayter, and Tony Storm. Jamie Hayter doesn't say anything. Britt Baker is getting ready to tear into Tony Storm when Tony Storm cuts her off and asks her, besides being women's champion, have you done anything else? Have you even left Pittsburgh? Do you even know who I am? And then she just goes, of course not. She looks at Jamie Hayter and be like, I'll see you in round 1. Looks at Britt, goes, I'll see you later if you make it that far. So, in my opinion, Tony Storm and all 3 of these ladies aren't gonna win the tourney. So next was the main event for the AEW TBS title, as the champ Jade Cargill, with Mark Sterling in her corner, took on the Problem, Marina Shafir. Of course, everybody knows who Marina Shafir is. 1/4 of the 4 horsewomen of MMA, of course, with Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, and Jessamine Duke. And of course, you know that she spent a little time in NXT. So, but this was a hell of a match. To be honest, this was the best match I've seen Marina Shafir wrestle. And to be honest, there was absolutely nothing to write home about when she wrestled in NXT. But this was a hell of a match. Jade Cargill, without a shadow of a doubt, gets the victory over Marina Shafir. She solved the problem. Of course, Marina Shafir gave her fits throughout the match, you know, targeting the leg or the ankle, you know, getting a good heel hook going in. But Jade puts her away with Jaded, and That's it. Still TBS champion. Winning streak still unbroken. A perfect 30-0. So, yeah. That being said, that is all for the 22nd, the April 22nd edition of Rampage. So, that being said, I'm War Machine MJ. You see my titles. There you go. Now you see the 83 title. See my titles, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.